Discover 12 incredible life-changing speeches that will inspire athletes to unexpected success. Lucas Mitchell stood on the edge of the football field, the Friday night lights reflecting off the sleek helmets of players gearing up for battle. This was more than a game, it was a lifeline, a dream whispered in the quiet corners of his heart. Raised by a single mother, Lucas felt the weight of expectations pressing down on him like the too heavy pads he wore. He was 17, a time for boys to grow into men, but every day for him was a struggle against the shadows of his absent father and a town that revered hard work but seldom laid it to rest in gold. Where was his gold? It felt like an undying question. The game had always been his escape, a temporary relief from the stifled dreams of poverty. But with every missed tackle and every dropped pass, doubts soaked in. In town, whispers of success swirled. Young men making it big, he felt like an outsider looking in, yearning for the same dream that felt just beyond reach. Football wasn't just a game, for him, it was everything. Then it happened. A letter, crisp and foreign in its excitement, arrived one fateful day. A scholarship to an elite sports camp. Hope surged through him. It was that flicker he'd been waiting for, the light amidst the dim surroundings of his small town. As he entered the camp, he was met with the powerful pulse of athletes just like him, but also legendary figures whose stories of overcoming dirt roads and broken dreams echoed in his ears. They spoke of resilience, the fire that could only be born from struggle. Lucas's heart raced, tears prickling at the corners of his eyes as he listened. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Yet, time raced on and soon jolted him back to the realization that Jake, his best friend back home, lay injured, his dreams shattered by a single, brutal tackle. The pain tugged at Lucas's heart like a sharp thorn, reminding him of the loyalty that bound them together. Here he was, in a place bursting with opportunity, knowing that he was leaving Jake behind at a time when he needed him most. Their lives were intertwined, but this moment felt like a fork in the road. As the days passed, Lucas absorbed the wisdom of the greats but also battled with the nagging guilt threatening to suffocate his ambition. Conversations ensued around him about sacrifice and winning at all costs. With each passing speech, the stakes grew higher, not just for him, but for everyone he loved. He knew he stood on the precipice of change. He'd have to decide whether self-advancement was worth more than friendship. Then, came the moment that would change everything, an opportunity to speak, to share his journey. As he stood before the crowd, he could feel the weight of every unsaid word bearing down on his chest. Could he voice the fears he had carried all this way? The struggles of a town, the pressures of family, and the bond with Jake echoed through his very being. Lucas breathed deeply, ready to ignite the spark that could shift not just his destiny but perhaps reignite hope within his own community. But would it break him instead? Would the reality of his truth illuminate dark corners or leave him in the shadows? The question loomed large, a cliffhanger in the narrative of his life, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. Lucas stood at the front of the stage, a sea of faces staring back at him. The nervous energy danced in his stomach, twisting like a coiled spring. What if he stumbled over his words? What if they didn't understand? But more than fear, a fire ignited within him, a need to share his truth, to let the world see not just his struggles but also his hopes for his friend and their town. He opened his mouth, and the first words fell out like a hesitant whisper. "I'm Lucas and I'm here because of the people who believed in me." Each syllable felt heavy yet liberating, a weight lifting off his chest as he spoke. He glanced over at some of the legendary athletes in the audience, icons who had faced their own battles. Their nods of encouragement fueled him. "I come from a small town," he continued, his voice steadying. "A place where dreams often feel like they're just that, dreams. But they don't have to be. They can be reality if you fight for them. Moments before stepping onto the stage, he had worried about saying the right things, but as he spoke, it all flowed naturally. With every sentence, he could feel himself breaking through the barriers of doubt that had held him captive all this time. "I have a best friend, Jake," he shared, the name tinged with emotion. "He was supposed to be here tonight with me. He is the one who taught me what it means to fight not just on the field, but for your dreams." Lucas's heart pounded as he embraced the moment. He felt the room's energy shift as if the air thickened with shared memories of joy and hardship. "There is a stigma that surrounds success," he pressed on, the urgency escalating in his tone. "That it's all about glory, about winning. But it's not. It's about heart. It's about never giving up, even when you fall or when your friends need you the most. I'm here because I want to be the voice for those who can't speak. For Jake, for our town." The words spilled out from a place deep inside him, a realization that had slowly taken root. He didn't just want success for himself, he needed it for them all. As he glanced at the crowd, Lucas saw faces reflecting doubt, inspiration, and everything in between. This is what it meant to connect, to share the burden of dreams. He concluded, "I hope you fight for your dreams, and remember, even when it feels like you're alone, you are not. We're all in this together." The silence that followed felt charged, almost electric. Lucas stepped back, breathless. The applause erupted, enveloping him like a warm blanket. Tears pricked at his eyes as he felt the weight of his words settling on the audience, igniting something within them. But as the cheers echoed around him, a new thought swept across his mind. What if Jake could hear this? Would it make him heal faster, push him toward his own dream? Or would it tear the very fabric of their friendship apart if Lucas ventured on without him? The happiness and hope that bubbled inside him collided with a growing worry for his friend. What was the price of ambition when loyalty hung in the balance? And as he faced the roaring crowd, a new question rose within him: could his success truly come at the cost of Jake's struggle? The moment of clarity faded, leaving an unsettling weight. He stepped back from the crowd, knowing the answers lay ahead. Would he fight for himself or for both of them? The next chapter of his life awaited, filled with open questions and undeniable truth. As Lucas stepped off the stage, the applause still ringing in his ears, he felt a whirlwind of emotions. The adrenaline was high, but alongside it came the weight of uncertainty. He navigated through the bustling crowd, nods and smiles met him at every turn, but his mind was miles away, caught up in thoughts of Jake. He found a quiet corner near the venue's entrance where he could catch his breath. The bright lights felt like they illuminated his worries as much as they did his accomplishments. What did it mean to gain success if his best friend wasn't a part of it? Lucas found himself sitting on a cold metal bench, the chill contrasting sharply with the warmth washing over him from the moment on stage. His phone buzzed, breaking his reverie. A text from Jake. "Heard the speech. Proud of you, man. Wish I could have been there." Lucas's heart ached. He typed back quickly, "Missed you up there. We're in this together, don't forget it." The truth was, Lucas felt alone, even in a crowd of supportive faces. The applause had felt good, but it paled in comparison to the rush of sharing those moments with Jake. He could picture his friend's enthusiasm, infectious laughter, and unwavering support. It was hard to celebrate when Jake was still fighting his toughest battle alone. As he was lost in thought, a familiar face appeared beside him. Mia, the local coach who had been a father figure and a mentor, approached with a broad smile. "Lucas. That was incredible." "Thanks, Mia," he replied, forcing a smile. "I saw the way you connected with the crowd. That's no easy feat." But she paused, noticing the shadow over his face. "You don't seem convinced. What's eating at you?" Lucas opened up, the words spilling out like a dam breaking. "It's Jake. He should have been there with me. I'm scared of leaving him behind while I chase my own dreams. What if he doesn't make it?" The tension in his jaw tightened as he spoke, his heart pounding at the honesty of his fear. Mia nodded, empathy reflected in her eyes. This is a tough journey, Lucas. You're right to worry. But don't forget, you already inspire him by just living your truth. You can both succeed together. You don't need to carry that weight alone. Her words hung in the air, a lifeline. What if there was a way to bring Jake into his journey, to show him that success could be shared? Lucas felt the heat of determination building inside him. If he could not only chase his dreams but rally for his friend, perhaps they could lift each other up in the process. Thank you, Mia. I think I need to make it clear to Jake that he is part of this even from a distance, Lucas said, feeling a fresh sense of purpose. As they chatted, Lucas felt a lightness penetrating his worry. Maybe they both could find a way to support each other, no matter the distance or the obstacles. The night wore on, blending conversations and reflections under the soft glow of lights, but Lucas's mind was churning with a new idea. Tomorrow, he would visit Jake, not just to share the victory, but to explore ways to fight alongside him. He needed to show him that dreams were worth pursuing not just for one, but for both of them. With a promised focus on Jake, Lucas realized a newfound mission awaited him. The stage lights had illuminated a path, but now it was time for him to become the bridge for Jake's journey as well. He felt hopeful. But a lingering question remained in his heart: how would Jake react to Lucas's success and the pressure that came with it? Would it encourage him to fight harder, or would it build an insurmountable barrier between them? As he left the venue, the air crisp with possibility, Lucas knew tomorrow would be a defining moment. Would their bond be strong enough to weather the coming storm? The next morning, Lucas woke with a sense of urgency. He had spent the entire night tossing and turning, thoughts of Jake swirling in his mind like a storm. The sun filtered through his curtains, casting beams of light across his cluttered room. He couldn't shake the feeling that today would not just be another day, but a pivotal moment in both their lives. He sat on the edge of his bed, his heart racing at the thought of what might unfold. After a quick shower, Lucas dressed in a comfortable t-shirt and jeans, mentally preparing himself for the conversation ahead. Would Jake be open to the support he wanted to offer? Would he see it as a burden or an act of love? Once he arrived at the hospital, Lucas found himself hesitating at the entrance, the sterile smell of antiseptic hitting his senses. He took a deep breath and walked through the double doors. The bright lights inside felt different than the ones from last night's stage. These lights felt harsh and unforgiving. Lucas made his way to Jake's room, his steps slow yet determined. As he approached, the sounds of machines beeping filled the air, a continuous reminder of Jake's battle. The door was partially open, and he could see his friend lying on the bed, weak but still fighting. "Hey, buddy," Lucas called softly as he stepped inside. Jake turned his head slowly, a lazy smile breaking through the weariness that shadowed his features. "Lucas. Didn't he expect to see you so soon," he said, his voice hoarse but filled with warmth. Lucas took a moment to absorb the sight of his friend, his spirit still shining despite the circumstances. "I couldn't wait to come see you. I wanted to share something important." Jake's curiosity piqued, he gestured for Lucas to sit. "What's up?" Once seated, Lucas felt a rush of excitement and fear. His mind raced through everything he planned to say. "I just got off stage last night, it felt amazing, but it wasn't complete without you there. You know how much you mean to me, right?" Jake's expression softened, a flicker of vulnerability surfacing. "Of course. I wish I could been there to cheer you on. You were always the one meant to shine." Lucas shook his head. "No, it felt wrong without you beside me. And I know you're fighting through so much. But I thought maybe we could fight together. I want us to share this journey." Jake's brow furrowed. "What do you mean?" "I want to help you with your goals. I've been thinking about how I can support you. Maybe I can come visit more often, bring in motivational talks, or even set up a small team to help get you back into the swing of things." "We don't have to do this alone," Lucas proposed, each word from his mouth feeling like a lifeline tossed out to sea. "Lucas," Jake began, the weariness in his eyes brightened by a spark of hope. It means a lot that you'd want to do that. But what if I don't have the strength? What if I can't keep up? Lucas leaned in closer, his heart aching for his friend. Even if you don't, it's okay. I just want you to know that we're in this together, no matter what. I believe in you. A long silence stretched between them, heavy yet filled with unspoken hopes. Finally, Jake nodded, the fight rekindling in his spirit. All right, let us do it. But I have to warn you, I might drag you down sometimes. Lucas chuckled, relieved. As long as we're on this journey together, I don't care. We'll figure it out. As they discussed their plans, Lucas noticed the weight lifting from Jake's shoulders. It ignited a spark in him too. For the first time, Lucas felt they truly were in this together, fighting the storms that lay ahead. But just as hope began to flourish, the door swung open, and the nurse walked in with a solemn expression. "Jake, we just got the results from your latest tests." The air filled with anticipation, catching in Lucas's throat. What would the news be? Would it change everything they'd just begun to build? The room fell silent, charged with a weight that settled around Lucas and Jake like an impending thunderstorm. They both turned to the nurse, whose face was a mix of professional seriousness and just a touch of compassion. "Jake," the nurse began, her voice gentle but firm, "the tests showed some unexpected results. We've detected changes that we didn't see in your previous scans." She paused, searching Jake's eyes as if trying to gauge how much he could bear to hear. Jake's expression darkened, a shadow crossing over the flicker of hope they had just ignited. Lucas felt a knot tighten in his stomach. It was one thing to plan for support but another to confront harsh reality. "Changes, what does that mean?" Jake asked, the bravado in his voice faltering. "It means we need to reassess your treatment plan," she replied. "The doctors will want to discuss additional therapies, possibly more intensive ones, and we need to talk about the potential impact on your strength and recovery." Lucas felt his heart drop. More intensive? What kind of treatments? "It's too early to say for certain," the nurse replied, but Lucas could see the concern etched on her face. "But it may mean a longer recovery period than we hoped for." Jake looked down, his hands trembling slightly over the sheets. Lucas could see the fight begin to drain from his friend's eyes. This wasn't the ride back into the spotlight they had talked about, it was a detour into darkness. "Jake," Lucas said softly, trying to tug his friend back from the edge, "whatever happens, we'll get through this. You're not alone." But Jake just shook his head, an avalanche of emotions washing over him. "I don't know, Lucas. What if this is it? What if I can't bounce back this time?" "No. You can't think like that. You fought so hard. You're a warrior," Lucas replied insistently. "This is just another chapter, not the end of your story." "Sometimes it feels like the end," Jake whispered, his voice cracking as he stared at the ceiling, avoiding Lucas's gaze. The nurse took a step back, giving them a little space to process the news. Lucas felt his heart racing again, rapidly shifting from fear to resolve. He couldn't let Jake slip away into despair, not after they had finally made a plan together, after rekindling that flickering hope. "Jake," Lucas said, this time more forcefully, "what if we make this our rallying point? We can dive into this challenge together, just as we planned. Think of it as a new battle we need to face. I mean, you've never backed down before, right?" Jake took a shaky breath, his eyes glistening with unshed tears. "But what if I can't live up to the fight? What if I lose?" Lucas squeezed Jake's hand, bringing him back with an anchor of support. "You won't lose. Not while I'm here. And you're not allowed to give up. We'll manage the rough times together. You have your goals, and I have mine. This isn't just about success, it's about showing up, no matter what the odds are. Besides, if you take a step back, I'll be right behind you, cheering you along." A crack of a smile broke through the shadows in Jake's eyes, the kind that hinted at a familiar strength struggling to resurface. You really think so? I know so, Lucas said, feeling the tension begin to ease, if only slightly. We're redefining this journey and facing whatever comes next together. Just as Jake opened his mouth to reply, the door swung open again. This time it was Dr. Martinez, his oncologist, who stepped in with his own serious demeanor. Jake, we need to discuss the treatment options and what they mean for your future. The weight of Lucas's hope hung in the air, balancing precariously between promise and fears yet to unfold. What decision would Jake make? And would it be enough to bring both their dreams back into focus? Dr. Martinez's presence brought a sharp chill into the room. Lucas could see the tension in Jake's shoulders spike immediately, like a coiled spring. The oncologist's eyes surveyed the room, landing heavily on Jake, who looked smaller than ever under that gaze. Let's take a seat, Dr. Martinez suggested, his tone a mix of urgency and care. Lucas felt a surge of protectiveness. Sensing Jake's anxiety, he stepped close, placing his hand on Jake's back. You've got this, buddy. We'll tackle whatever comes next, he whispered, trying to impart some strength. Once seated, Dr. Martinez began with a measured tone. Jake, the changes in your tests indicate that we'll need to adjust your current regimen. The goal is to stabilize your condition, but this may involve stronger treatments, chemotherapy that is more aggressive than what we've previously discussed. It's a tough decision. Jake's breath caught in his throat. Aggressive? How aggressive? His voice was a fragile whisper, carrying the weight of countless questions. It could mean feeling worse before feeling better, Dr. Martinez said, his eyes unwavering. It could lead to increased fatigue, nausea, and unfortunately, it could also affect your daily life significantly. Lucas watched the color drain from Jake's face. This wasn't just a roadblock, it could be a mountain, and they were standing at its base, unsure of how to climb it. But it could also be the best chance we have, Dr. Martinez added, a flicker of hope hidden among the harsh realities. We've seen patients benefit from these kinds of treatments, even after setbacks. But what if I can't handle it? Jake replied, his voice barely a sound with the weight of his worries. Lucas felt his heart racing as he thought of everything Jake had fought through. You're already a champion in my eyes, Jake. You've faced so much. This is just another battle, and I'll be right beside you every step of the way, no matter what it takes. Dr. Martinez nodded, acknowledging their bond. Support systems are crucial, he said, looking between the two of them. Not just for motivation, but in managing the side effects too. Make sure you lean on each other. You're going to need it. Jake rubbed his forehead, battling emotions that warred inside him: fear, frustration, and flickers of hope intertwined. So, what's the next step? We need to begin as soon as possible, Dr. Martinez explained. I'll set up a meeting with the treatment team, and we can outline everything in detail. You'll have options, Jake. As we create this plan, I need you to focus on what you want out of this. Don't hesitate to voice your concerns. A knot tightened in Lucas's chest at the urgency in the doctor's voice. He leaned closer to Jake, hoping to ignite the fire they had kindled moments before. Remember the plan we made? The goals? Jake looked up, searching Lucas's eyes. You really think I can push through this? I know you can. We'll redefine what fighting looks like. We're a team, and if you get tired, I'll carry the load. You won't be alone. For the first time in what felt like forever, a flicker of determination sparked in Jake's eyes. Okay, then. Let's do this. But before Lucas could respond, Dr. Martinez added, one more thing. There's a chance we'll need to adjust your lifestyle and nutritional shift that can support your treatment and recovery. It may be hard, but it could make a significant difference. The challenge loomed larger than before, and Jake's expression wavered, uncertainty creeping back in. How do I even begin to wrap my head around all of this? Lucas took a deep breath, squeezing Jake's hand once more. We break it down, one step at a time. We'll handle this together, just like always. Remember, every great journey begins with a single step. As they steered the conversation toward more concrete plans, Lucas couldn't shake the feeling that the next decision would shape their future in ways they couldn't yet comprehend. Would Jake's resolve hold strong against what lay ahead? And how would they both handle the unexpected turns in this battle for life? The meeting ended with a mix of hope and dread hanging in the air. As Lucas and Jake walked out of the clinic, the bright sunlight felt surreal after the heaviness of their conversation. Jake shielded his eyes, squinting as he took a deep breath. Do you think I can really do this? Jake's voice trembled, cracking slightly. He didn't meet Lucas's gaze, his mind swirling with questions about what lay ahead. You're not doing it alone, Lucas replied firmly, trying to share the weight of uncertainty between them. He felt the warmth of the sun on his back and wasn't about to allow the shadow of doubt to settle between them. We'll make this work. One day at a time, right? Jake stopped walking at a small park near the clinic. People were gathered, birds chirping and kids playing in the distance. The park's cheerful chaos contrasted sharply with their earlier conversation. I don't know what the new diet stuff will be like. It makes it feel even more real, you know. Lucas nodded. It will be an adjustment. But you love new challenges. Think of it as an adventure, a new recipe every week. He tried to lighten the mood with a smile. An adventure? More like an uphill marathon, Jake joked, but there was no spark of laughter in his eyes. Just that deep, penetrating fear of the unknown. Yeah, or a rocky trail with lots of hurdles. But you've climbed mountains before, Lucas said, hoping his words would resonate. Not literally, but you've faced so much and look at you. You've come through every time, stronger than before. As they resumed walking, Jake's pace slowed. He approached a bench and took a seat, patting the space beside him. Lucas joined him, feeling the gravity of the moment settle between them like a thick haze. What's on your mind? I'm scared, Lucas, Jake admitted finally. What if this doesn't work? What if I lose everything? I mean, we've built so much together, and we'll figure it out. Whatever happens, we'll face it together, Lucas interrupted gently. But we can't dwell on the what-ifs. That's a slippery slope. We focus on today. What if I can't change my diet? What if I hate it? It feels like I'm losing all control, Jake's voice rose slightly, crackling with a mix of frustration and fear. Control. Well, maybe you need to redefine what control looks like, Lucas said, leaning toward him. You can control your choices. Every meal, every moment of perseverance. You may not have control over the outcome, but you do have control over the effort you put in. That even more than the food is what counts. Jake nodded slowly, yet the frown didn't leave his face. I don't want to let everybody down. You're not just doing this for everyone else. You're doing this for you, too. And you have us, your family, your friends behind you, every single step. Lucas felt an urgency to make Jake understand. There's strength in that. You're creating a ripple effect, you won't be seen as weak if you lean on your support. Taking a moment to let those words sink in, Jake pondered the reality of asking others for help. A glimmer of understanding sparked in his eyes. You think it's okay to ask? Lucas grinned broadly, lifting his head slightly. Friend, it's essential. Humans are designed for connection. How about we make a plan right now? We can write down our goals. Food changes, treatment timelines, anything you want to accomplish. Sounds like a win-win. Facing the park bench, Jake let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. Okay, let us do it. As they pulled out their phones to take notes, a playful shout caught their ears, a child's laughter ringing through the air. The sound melted some of the lingering tension. They began jotting down ideas, the sunlight shining brighter with each shared word, slowly dissolving the worries that once loomed like storm clouds. But just then, as they scribbled down their thoughts, Jake's phone buzzed with a text. He glanced at it and his expression shifted, the warmth dissipating once more. "It's my sister. She wants to talk about the family." "Everything feels so heavy," he murmured, words hanging in the air like stones. Lucas felt the shift. "Is she worried?" "More like she wants to know how I'm doing." "I don't want to worry her," Jake sighed, fidgeting with his phone. "Just tell her the truth. She needs to know you're in the fight, not hiding." "It might help you both," Lucas suggested softly. Jake looked at him, eyes wide with realization. "You're right." "But what if Jake," Lucas interjected firmly but kindly. "You can't control how others respond, only how you choose to be honest with them. Don't let fear prevent you from living." Jake inhaled deeply, weighing the truth of that statement. "Okay, I'll text her back." But deep down, both men felt the atmosphere shift again as if a storm was ready to break. Another hurdle was coming, one they couldn't sweep under the rug. Lucas glanced into the distance, watching the kids play. The question gnawed at the back of his mind: what other storms awaited them on this journey? He turned to Jake, who was watching the screen as if it held the answers to all their fears. Would facing these challenges bring them closer or tear them apart? "Let us move forward, one step at a time," Lucas said, the resolve building again. Jake nodded, but the unease lingered. Would they be strong enough for what was to come? Jake's thumb hovered over his screen, hesitating before he hit send. The messages he considered were heavy with emotion, but he knew he needed to be honest. At that moment, the carefree laughter from the children nearby felt miles away from his own tangled thoughts. It was as if their joy mocked the anxiety that had crept into his heart. Lucas leaned back on the bench, his expression steady but watchful. "You all right?" he asked gently. "I'm just thinking about how this will change everything," Jake admitted. "What if my sister is worried? What if she sees me as fragile? Do you think she doesn't already know? Families have a weird way of sensing things." "You're not letting anyone down by being honest about how tough this is," Lucas replied. He could see the weight of Jake's fears, but he also believed in his friend's strength. Jake finally took a breath and began typing. The minutes ticked by as he wrestled with every word. After numerous edits, he pressed send and let out a shaky sigh. "There. It's done. I told her how I'm feeling and the changes ahead." Lucas smiled, genuinely pleased. "That's a huge step, man. Now you can focus on what you can control, your own journey." Jake glanced at Lucas, a flicker of gratitude lighting up his eyes. "Thanks for being here. I really don't know what I'd do without you." "Hey, that's what friends are for," Lucas replied, shrugging it off, even though he felt the gravitas of those words. The bond they shared felt more crucial now than ever. "What's next, then?" Jake asked, staring into the distance where the sunlight glinted off the playground swings. The carefree atmosphere around them contrasted sharply with the turbulence inside him. "Next. We set that plan in motion. Let us find some recipes that feel exciting, or at least manageable," Lucas suggested, pulling out his phone. "Or we could tackle those family dinners. Wouldn't it hurt to get them on board with your new lifestyle?" Jake chuckled softly, albeit nervously. "Yeah, right. Try educating my mom about kale and quinoa instead of her secret mac and cheese recipe." "Challenge accepted," Lucas quipped with a grin. "And who knows? You might just wow them, turn them into believers of health." The corners of Jake's mouth turned up in an involuntary smile. "You really think I can do this?" "I know you can. It's going to be hard, but you've got the heart for it," Lucas assured him. "And we'll figure out any bumps on the road together." As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over the park, Jake felt a shift within himself, a glimmer of determination sparked by Lucas's unwavering support. He didn't want to let fear dictate his path any longer. His phone buzzed again, and he saw another incoming message from his sister. He froze, suddenly apprehensive. What if she thinks I'm being dramatic? Then let her be concerned. Lucas responded, nudging him lightly. Better that than not knowing how to support you. Just handle it the way you've been doing honestly. Taking a deep breath, Jake opened the message. She was supportive, encouraging exactly what he needed. A sense of warmth washed over him. Maybe honesty was the real way to connect with those around him. Maybe it could actually bring them closer. I'm going to call her, Jake said, standing up decisively. We need to talk. No more dodging. Lucas stood too, an encouraging smile framing his face. That's the spirit. Let us do this. As Jake stepped away to find a quieter spot to talk, Lucas watched him go. A swell of hope filled him. They were moving forward, breaking through barriers, step by step. Perhaps, with every conversation, they could reshape what fear meant in their lives. But just as Jake turned away, Lucas received a text of his own, a notification that caught him off guard. It was from a long-lost friend, asking to reconnect. The words "Can we talk?" buzzed like a distant echo in the back of his mind. What unresolved past was kneading at the corners of his heart? Would reaching out to that friend change everything for him, too? He thought about the struggles they all faced now, the strength they would need to stay connected. And as Jake's voice faded into the distance, Lucas couldn't help but wonder what paths were awaiting him in his own journey. Would they walk them together, or would they diverge before they even knew it? Jake's heart raced as he stumbled onto a quiet patch of grass under a towering oak tree. The world around him faded, leaving just his thoughts and the voice on the other end of the line. He took a deep breath before dialing his sister's number. A vestige of anxiety gnawed at him, but the warmth from her previous message lingered, urging him to be brave. Come on, pick up, he whispered, almost pleading. It rang a few times before he heard her familiar voice. Hey. Jake. What's up? Hey, Sarah, he began, his throat tight. I just wanted to talk about, well, everything. He almost faltered, but her gentle tone encouraged him. Of course. I got your message. I'm here for you. What's on your mind? Jake hesitated, the weight of his emotions spilling out like a loose thread. I guess I'm scared. Scared of how this journey is going to change things. I'm worried I'll let you and Mom down. That you'll see me differently. Jake, she said softly, it's okay to be scared. It shows you care. But you're not fragile. You're taking steps to be better, and that's something to admire, not pity. He closed his eyes, letting her words wash over him. I just want to be the brother you can count on. I don't want to be a burden. You could never be a burden, she insisted. Honestly, I wish you'd told me sooner. We're family. We're in this together. You're strong for asking for help, she reminded him, a shade of pride threading her voice. Jake felt a knot unravel inside him. Thanks, Sarah. It helps to hear that. He looked up, realizing how the late afternoon sun filtered through the tree, casting soft shadows on the ground. A sense of calm settled over him. What do you need, Jake? She asked. How can I support you? A myriad of ideas flooded his mind. Maybe we can try cooking together. You can help me pick some recipes, and I can work on my meal prep. It would be fun. Definitely. We'll be kitchen warriors together. She laughed, and Jake found himself smiling, a genuine, carefree smile that felt foreign but welcomed. Just as the call ended, and Jake was about to head back to Lucas, an unexpected wave of guilt washed over him. He still had not figured out how to talk to his parents about this change. What if they didn't understand or accepted it? As he walked back, he spotted Lucas, still engrossed in his phone, an unreadable expression on his face. Hey! How'd it go? Lucas looked up, his tone genuinely curious. It was good. I feel lighter, Jake replied, though the inkling of his unspoken concern still lingered. Good to hear. Did you tell her about your plans? Lucas asked, his eyes narrowing slightly, sensing something wasn't quite right. Jake hesitated. A bit. I just need to figure out how to talk to our parents about it. Lucas nodded, his expression shifting to something more serious. You'll get there. Just like you did with Sarah. The more honest you are, the less scary it seems. Before Jake could respond, Lucas's phone buzzed again. He glanced down, and a look of surprise washed over his face. It's my old buddy, Sam. He wants to talk, too. I didn't expect that. Jake raised an eyebrow. Sam. The one from high school. Yeah. I haven't heard from him in years, Lucas said, scratching his head. I wonder what he wants. Part of me wants to reach out, then, part of me is, well, scared. Jake felt a connection to Lucas's apprehension. What if this is a chance to understand something left unsaid? Lucas pondered for a moment, chewing on his lip. Yeah, maybe. I'll reply. But it's not easy. Jake placed a hand on Lucas's shoulder. But we're both learning to face our fears now, right? Let us encourage each other. Lucas smiled back, warmth radiating through their friendship. You got it. We push each other forward. As they shared a moment of reassurance, Jake's phone buzzed with a notification from his sister. He opened it anxiously. What words lay waiting for him next? Would they continue on this journey of courage? As uncertainty hovered in the air, he felt the possibilities stretching out before them. Would reaching out break down other barriers, or would they uncover deeper struggles yet to be faced together? The sun hung low in the sky, casting golden hues over the park as Lucas and Jake sat side by side, their hearts full yet burdened. The morning's talks had ignited a spark of hope for Jake, but the unaddressed fears loomed just like the clouds that seemed to gather overhead. Hey, what did your sister say? Lucas asked, keeping the mood light, but the concern was clear behind his eyes. She's on board with helping me cook, Jake replied, a hint of pride gleaming through the worry. But I still need to face our parents. That's the real challenge. Lucas nodded, his heart aching for his friend. Just be honest, man. That's all anyone can ask of you. Jake sighed, the weight of expectations pressing down like iron. It's easier said than done. What if they don't understand? Or worse, what if they think I'm just giving up on everything? You've come too far to let that hold you back. You're fighting for your life. They see that, Lucas said, trying to empower his friend. Just then, Jake's phone vibrated, snapping him from his thoughts. He glanced at the screen, saw his mom's name, and his insides twisted. It's my mom. Take a deep breath, Lucas encouraged, his voice steady. You've got this. Jake didn't hesitate any longer. He touched the screen, and there she was, a gentle face looking back at him. Hey, Mom, he said, forcing a smile. Hi, honey. How are you feeling today? Her voice was warm, but the worry crackled beneath the surface. I'm doing all right, Jake replied, keeping his tone even. I wanted to talk about some things. Of course. What's on your mind? The eagerness in her voice was reassuring, yet Jake sensed the tension behind it. Well, it's about my health and the new treatments. I think they're going to try something more intense, Jake began, his heart racing as he struggled to find the words. What do you mean, intense? His mother's voice shifted, concern tinged with confusion. Honey, we just want to make sure you're getting the best care. I know, Mom. I need your support more than ever. I'm planning on making some changes to my lifestyle, diet, exercise, everything. It's all part of the plan, he explained, feeling a rush of adrenaline. Changes? Why? Her voice was gentle but edged with apprehension. I thought you were making good progress. I am. But I want to take control. I want to fight, and I can't do that if I'm not in my best shape, Jake said, finding strength in his conviction. I need to redefine what that looks like for me. I understand, she said slowly, processing his words. But that means letting go of how things used to be. Jake swallowed, his throat dry. Yes, it does. But I have a strong support system. Lucas is here with me, and we're working together. Lucas, the one from high school. Her tone softened, but Jake could tell there were still lines of worry etched in her voice. Yes. He is more like family to me now. We're in this together, Jake affirmed. I hope you can be a part of it, too. The silence on the other end was heavy with realization. For a moment, it felt like everything hung in the balance. Would she support him, or would this be a rift between them? Finally, she spoke. Okay, Jake. I trust you. You've always been strong. If changing your diet and fighting harder is what you need to do, then we will support you. The relief washed over him like a cool breeze on a scorching day, and he felt lighter. Thank you, Mom. I promise to keep you updated. This means everything. Lucas beamed with pride, sensing the shared moment radiate between them. Jake hung up the call, a smile breaking across his face. I did it, he said, disbelief coloring his voice. She is on board. My family is going to support my fight. Lucas jumped up and high-fived Jake with uncontainable enthusiasm. That is amazing. See? You took back control. This is just the beginning. Jake laughed, the sound bubbling forth like it had been trapped inside for too long. Next step is the cooking challenge with Sarah. But I feel like I can take it all on, thanks to you. The two friends shared a moment, the weight of fear replaced with determination. They knew the battles ahead wouldn't all be easy, but with each step they took together, hope blossomed. Just then, Lucas's phone buzzed again. He glanced down, contemplating the message before looking back at Jake, a mix of curiosity and apprehension in his eyes. It's Sam, Lucas admitted quietly, the name heavy with the weight of the past. Are you going to respond? Jake asked, resting a hand on Lucas's shoulder, recognizing the uncertainty. I think so, Lucas replied slowly, contemplating the crossroads. It's time to face my own fears, just like you did. With a newfound resolve, Lucas tapped on the screen. As he typed back, he felt a sense of transformation ripple between them, a bond forged in honesty, openness, and unyielding support. No longer would fears control them, they would walk forward together, facing whatever storms came next. As the sun began to set, their laughter echoed through the park, intertwining with the sounds of children playing and the rustling leaves. In that moment, it became clear, they were ready to redefine their journeys, adapting to the unknown with courage. The next chapters awaited, and together, there was nothing they couldn't face. And in that realization, Jake found a steady heartbeat of hope, thriving on the promise of future victories. They weren't just fighting for their dreams, they were doing so hand in hand, bolstering each other's resolve. The world around them brightened with possibility, and it felt like the dawn of a new day, one they would face together, no matter the challenges. Remember, this is a journey worth taking. If you're feeling inspired, you need to subscribe now to the channel so you don't miss more uplifting stories like this one. Leave a like now to fuel the algorithm and share this motivation with others. And don't forget to comment your thoughts and feelings about this journey. Your voice counts. Share instantly with at least 5 friends who need this transformation in their lives. Don't wait not even one more second to spread the hope and inspiration.